what's up everybody, BDO44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I got one more set of squats, but I want to make this video, so I'm going to put it off for however long this takes. One more set. Why am I doing this? Anyway, alright, so this is what we're talking about. Bron James and the struggles that he may have had yesterday on the court. I hear that he was sick. He said he was bedridden for the last several days, so hopefully that he can get back to 100%, because I know how that goes. If you bedridden, and then you got to go out there and push, mind, body, and soul ain't gonna be where it needs to be on the first day back, you know what I mean? Or a couple practices may not necessarily be enough to get him back in the game shape. So that's really what it is. Yesterday I didn't really mention much about the struggles that he had in the game. The fact that his shot selection down the stretch of the game almost cost us the game. And you know, this is one of those things where it's just like, for me, because we had a victory and because I'm winging it, I just chose to look at other stuff. I was thinking about other stuff when assessing the game. I mentioned that there were some struggles, but I mentioned also that he had helped us get an assist and rebounds and some defensive stats. And, you know, 20 points, I thought he was okay. He was not efficient as we'd like him to be. But, you know what I mean? I just am now listening to Laker podcasts, and it's being mentioned that he's having struggles, you know, and that he hasn't been his efficient self that we're used to him being. And, you know, maybe he's not going to be carrying the team like he used to offensively, scoring the ball. But my thing is, and this is just me looking at from the outside in, he hasn't been right since last Saturday. Man, I don't know if he started feeling sick back then, but to me, his energy and his focus and his seemed like the upbeat nature that he normally would have about approaching the game, it hadn't really been there. And I thought maybe it had something to do with the Russell Westbrook situation, you know, at the time. But, like, things have gotten better. Russell Westbrook's now in a different space. Everybody, the team is playing together. And to me, it looked like, and it looks like to others, that he's still not quite there yet. It's like he's the last guy to kind of believe that this is worth doing. I think, and that's what it looks like to me. It looked like that yesterday, too. It was like, it was almost as if he was listening to all the criticism and said, fine. And just started, like, throwing the ball, you know, down the stretch of the game, kind of just doing stuff that we know we shouldn't have been doing. I get it. You're the guy that's, the pressure's on you to make everything work. So, of course, down the stretch of the game, you need the ball. But if you're having a bad efficiency night, you know, it would stand a reason to run a play. You know what I mean? Run a play for somebody else. You know, and when we did that with Matt Ryan, we won the game. No, but when we went to the more conventional, obvious go-to guy on a night when he doesn't have it, we needed to play defense and get a victory, a Hail Mary win, Hail Mary shot just to get into overtime. So, you know, an 0 for 7 night for him, and you look at our shooting and we realize we're shooting 26%, it's like, these are the things, you know, these are the things that we were upset about last week. And when we were talking about all this stuff that wasn't so positive in regards to him, it's kind of because of this, you know, this kind of thing. And it's like we were able to get away with it last night, so I didn't focus in on it. But if it cost us the win, I'm pretty sure it would have been more of a focus for me. Throwing possessions away and things of that nature, and not running plays. You know, these are the type of things that I always say, you know, sometimes when he shoots the three, it takes away possessions from the team. And I felt like yesterday in a key moment, he had an opportunity to shoot a three and didn't, pull the ball all the way out and was able to get a look for Russell Westbrook, and I think it helped the overall morale of the team. Those are the things I want him to do in situations like that. Like, brother, those rhythm threes that you take off the rim that don't get rebounded, you know those don't help us. At some point in time, we got to just know that that's not a positive, you know what I mean, for your team. And it's like, at some point in time, it's like, I know you have a desire to get space. I know you have a way that you've been playing. I know you want to get your rhythm. You don't want to stop shooting the three. You've always been a subpar three-point shooter. It never stopped you from shooting in, but it's like you always had legit shooters around you, so you could get away with those misses. And so that's always been my thing in regards to that. Why hasn't the adjustment been more obvious? And I think the adjustment wasn't necessarily made because of that lack of focus, because of that lack of, you know, belief that this is worth it. And I said that from the beginning of the season. I just didn't feel like he felt this uphill battle was actually worth even trying. And so I accused him of giving up while running several games ago. You know, I felt like he was running around, but he had given up. And that was the Saturday game I was referring to, where he just didn't have it. And, you know, We saw some of that last night, unfortunately. We did, down the stretch of the basketball game in regulation. With that fadeaway shot that didn't work, and another 3-point shot that he took after making the right play, as I referred to in the video last night, where he had pulled it out and then ultimately got the three for Russell. He came back down and jacked up on them bad threes. Like, it was almost like he jacked it up because he was upset he had to do that in the previous play. And it's like, man, if that was what I was interpreting, that's not good. You know, it was another thing that I interpreted earlier in the game. It was like Russell Westbrook. And I don't know if I was right about this. I said in the video, but I said I saw a situation where in the first quarter when we subbed Russell Westbrook in, we called an immediate timeout to sub LeBron James out. And I thought that was because by design we felt that those two should never play with each other, or at least try to limit that, especially when Russell initially gets on the floor. So it's one of those situations where it's like I think we called that timeout and to get Bron off the floor. And I just wonder if what I interpreted was what I was interpreting. I wonder if he actually started feeling a way about that. Like that kind of dynamics to where it's like everything's being catered to Russell Westbrook now because he's such an important piece that we need to make work. It's almost like now he has to try to find his way, as to where last year Russell Westbrook had to find his way and was struggling to do so. Now Bron is trying to find his way around Russell and is struggling to do so. I think this is a situation where, and as I compared them to one another last week, that Saturday, I said him and Russell were both doing the same thing, just in a very different way. You know, because they were both basically giving up, as it felt like they were throwing possessions away and it's not giving it what we were deserving of them from focus and effort standpoint, and an intent on making the possessions legitimately count. And so, you know, now we got Russell on board. Now Russell's aligned and doing things the right way, and Bron is still struggling. Bron is still in a space where it's like, you know, he's coming back from sickness, I guess, or whatever would be the case. If you don't want to believe him, which a lot of people are not going to, because that's just how this is. But at the end of the day, you know, I'd imagine that his attitude about the whole situation has got to improve. This has to be worth it to him. You know, you locked yourself in, so it ain't like we can trade you. You got to get out of your feelings, basically, is what I have to say about the situation. Cut and plain. You know, we can look and see and speculate what it is, but at the end of the day, he knows what he feels inside, and he knows that we can detect when the energy ain't the same, and we will call it out. Laker Nation is, I don't know how other places were, but you know, we're a team-oriented bunch here. We love the team at all times. So you see how happy we are to see Russell Westbrook succeed. You see how happy everybody is to see Matt Ryan hit the shot. We don't need the star to take the shot every night or be the creator of the winning play every night, especially on a night when he doesn't have it. You know what I mean? Now, if that's your prototype and you're Kobe, then we expect you to do that every night because that's exactly who you are. But it's not like we're expecting that from him on nights when he's not, when he doesn't have it. So speaking of LeBron, it's like you don't have to do that, bro. We can run plays for other people. You can kind of play the off-ball role, or even set up a play for somebody else in a situation like that. But if you think you have to be the guy to take the shot, or it has to be the guy to create the play, because that's just the same thing, I just think that's a dynamic that is predictable in a lot of cases. Like, it's literally predictable. So at that point, we just gotta be okay with letting Darvin Ham do what he did last night, which was run and play for somebody else, and let the team get the victory for it. You know, force feeding it to Bron James is just that's only something we need to do when it makes sense to do it. Basically, mix it up. That's what I would say. So, yeah, man, that's it. I think all in all, LeBron James just has to get healthy and recalibrate. You know, I don't expect for him to struggle like Russell Westbrook. He's not Russell Westbrook, with all due respect to Russ. I expect Bron to meditate, get his mind right, come back out there with a different approach, fix some things that need to be fixed. You know, whatever he has to do, I expect him to do it, because this is the pinnacle. You know, he's not a Hall of Famer. He's supposed to be the Hall of Famer. So when we see him not giving it his all, yeah, we're going to hold him to a higher standard. We're going to push on him harder than we push on anybody else, because that's what we expect from him to be able to provide for us. You know what I mean? We can get on the front office, we can get on everybody, but at the end of the day, we all know it boils down to his wishes. His roster is what he wants it to be. However it's constructed, these are his guys. So we need him to make it work, man. What I see is a whole unit full of people trying to make it work. and one guy who's like tired, man, just tired, doesn't seem like he has it for it this season. And I don't like that. I don't like that when that's the guy who put it together. I don't like that when that's the guy who's supposed to be the pinnacle. I don't like that when that's the guy who, if we sit him down, we have no chance. He can't be the guy that's on the outside of things looking at us saying, yeah, they a team, but, I'm kind of upset because this ain't going my way, so let me just throw the ball away. I don't like what BDF 44 is saying, so let me just go ahead and throw the ball away. Show Laker Nation they ain't appreciating me. It's like, brother, the appreciation comes from you giving us that effort, you living up to them standards that the pinnacle's supposed to be, because unfortunately, we ain't about to measure you by anybody but that. That's it. We ain't gonna be like happy-go-lucky about you, Bron. Sorry, that's not the energy that the GOAT's earned. That's not the respect that the GOAT has earned. Now we expect you to go out there and fix all the problems, make miracles happen, and you're supposed to do that. You know what I mean? Like, literally. We're supposed to have a chance at a championship with a bad team because you're on it. So, I don't know if mental fatigue is setting after 20 years of running around, hearing Skip Bayless drag his name through the mud. I don't know if he wants to continue to be the king. I don't know if he wants to continue to live up to the Laker name or all that. Maybe he just needed to sign that extension to keep his career going so he can keep other things popping off. But at the end of the day, we can't do this without him because of his talent level and what he represents on our cap. So it's up to him to respect his own legacy and treat this season just like he treated any other, with the intent on getting better at what he needs to do for that season. Not just working what comes naturally or comfortably if it's not to the betterment of the team, but adjusting like a GOAT does and being ready. Like literally being ready. I don't think LeBron James wasn't ready based on where his physical self was. If he was in bed for the last couple of days, I think he was about as ready as he could be. But how much of a pass do I give the great LeBron James for mental stuff, like taking shots he has no business taking and being frustrated after making the right play because he didn't do what he wanted to do? Like, those type of things ain't got nothing to do with being sick. That ain't got nothing to do with being bedridden or none of that. That just has to do with you being ornery and pouting and throwing a tantrum. And that's what people always accuse him of. He gotta shake that off, man. He's got to shake that off. I think a lot of people call him a diva. People call him this or that. I just think at the end of the day, he looks in the mirror, he sees the greatest. And you know what I mean? And with that comes a certain level of whatever come with that. But I think what also comes with that is a certain level of pressure from the outside. And so we're going to be like, look, I don't care how much you feel about what your legacy is supposed to be about. Once you put on purple and gold, now it's about our legacy. And if you don't realize that what you do here is going to affect the overall of your legacy, you're going to figure it out sooner than later once they start talking about it in a certain way, and how the Lakers situation was somewhat of a failure, even though he got an NBA championship in the bubble. That is something he can control. He can control that by first recalibrating entirely in regards to where he's at right now with this team, accepting the things he cannot control, working on the game, remembering that even for him, it is still a privilege to be an NBA ball player. And there was once a time where he was dreaming about it and didn't know if it was going to happen. You know what I mean? I'm sure it was. Probably was very early, but it happened, I'm sure. And so he got to remember that right now and just realize this Laker uniform thing, that is that dream. That's the dream. However it played out. 3-6, Miami, Cleveland twice, LA. That was the dream, buddy. And year 20 is part of it. You got to see it through. See it all the way through. Just like we said about in the Coach Darvin Ham video. We were talking about playing 24 seconds of defense, 48 minutes of basketball. You can't just play 22 seconds of defense. You give up the play on the last minute of the shot clock, second of the shot clock. No, you don't want to do that. You work so hard, see the play through. You play 48 minutes. You don't want to just give it one half. See it all the way through. And so that's how I want LeBron James to treat his career. And that's how I want him to treat this tenure. You know what I mean? And look, we're in the era of unlearning BS. There's no excuses for the old dogs not wanting to learn new tricks. There's no excuse for that, because we're in a world where everything's changing right away, and we all have to adapt, old and young. So, with that being said, Russell Westbrook's adapting to coming off the bench. LeBron James gonna have to adapt to shooting less threes. LeBron James gonna have to adapt to doing different things, whatever they may be, accepting that maybe his body ain't gonna jump as high or as fast. So, be at peace with that, and doing what he has to do to help us in other ways. But you can't pout about it. You know what I'm saying? Can't pout about it. Maybe Laker Nation ain't treating you with the respect you feel you deserve. Maybe it's not fair that we keep comparing you to other guys of the past. Can't cry about it. You know what I mean? Put just like Russell Westbrook can't cry about us constantly asking him to be traded. Can't cry about it. Just gotta put on. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel, man. I just look at what LeBron James, he's going through it. I can see that. Sick or not, he's going through it right now. It ain't been right since last Saturday. And so he's just gotta do what he gotta do, man. I don't know how much everything that is going on off the court with Kanye and his show have to do with anything at all. But what I can say is I don't think he's been right since then. That's when I sensed his energy actually changed as it pertains to his effort and intent to be positive and body language being good. It's almost like he's been irritated ever since. That's what I've sensed. So take that for what it's worth. I'm just looking at the timing of all things. So yeah, man, shake that off. Hopefully the whole team getting some victories can help him kind of, feel a little better. He was saved last night by Matty Ice. You know what I mean? 37 is a weapon, as I love to tell you guys. This is why. You clearly see why. You know what I mean? Trust him. Trust your shooter. We have one shooter. This is an old school basketball team. They had the one shooter. Tim Legler will tell you he was the one shooter. He made a whole career out of it. Guys, we can do this. This is an old school team, and teams want to play a certain way. What they're not built to do is play like us. So that's what I've been preaching in this camera, and that's what I want LeBron James to believe in. Because at the end of the day, we're not a bad scoring team, and we're a good defensive team. The shooting issues are just an optical illusion based on how poorly we were shooting and believing it was intentional on us not playing the percentage with our volume. Once you start to figure that out and know who you are, and then you play to your strengths, you still win games. And we're seeing that. We're beating good teams. The Denver Nuggets don't suck. New Orleans Pelicans don't suck. Either one of those teams could come out of the West at the end of the year. We know we beat some good teams. And we lost to some really good teams. The Golden State Warriors just won the championship. The Clippers are supposed to be a team of contender. You know what I mean? Timberwolves are a team that's supposed to be a contender. They gave us a crap schedule. Portland has only lost, one game? We lost to some very good teams. So all things considered, we played those teams pretty well. Most of them anyway. And in the games we didn't, we talked about it. We talked greatly about it. And we saw what we were doing wrong. And some of it was just common sense stuff. Some of it was focus stuff. Some of it was just stuff we've been talking about in this camera from guys just believing and following Darvin Ham and showing up for him. You know what I mean? And that's when I'm going to hold LeBron to the fire. Show up for Darvin Ham, bro. Show up for Darvin Ham. That's bottom line. That's deeper than basketball. Show up for Darvin Ham, LeBron. Don't have his tenure with the Lakers be looking funny because you ain't trying to, you know what I mean? Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't even do that. So that's what I got to say about everything, man. I just wanted to address LeBron James again. You know what I mean? I'm going to address him because he's the guy. Not just, on our team, but in the league. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we can talk to him freely and openly, just like we want him to talk to us freely and openly. I respect that he's going to be cryptic in regards to how he does that based on his natural way and maybe some other stuff that's going on behind the scenes. But communicate with us. You know what I mean? We want to know. You don't feel appreciated? Cool. We're going to tell you we don't either. We're going to tell you why you don't feel appreciated because we're detecting some BS from you. And pouting is not going to bring out the respect in us. Changing that is going to bring out the respect in us. Ask Russ. BDL44. Thank you all for watching.